good evening, everyone. Here we go. So we're up and running. Oh, what we've done now? I've cut you off. So let me find it again. And there we are. We should have pictures. Should all be good now. That's it. Got it. Cool. So good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I can see the questions are rolling in already. So we'll probably just get this up and running straight away. I'll do announcements as we go along. I'm here for as long as you're here, and the questions are rolling in. So we may as well just get straight to it. So let me just open the chat box there for me, and here we go. So good evening, everyone's saying good evening. So question from, is that WooFit? I've been watching many people online talking spiritual things, pre-birth planning. Apparently, when we are in spirit, we sit around a table with a whiteboard and decide what and who will be in our next earth life. First, I can't get my head around it as spirit energy sitting with a whiteboard anywhere. I mean, how would that be possible? Okay, I kind of get where they're coming from. I think the big main problem we have is that we see it as like a human experience. So a lot of people are got this idea that we have this body, this vessel, and then we make decisions. So I'm kind of down with the pre-contracted kind of stuff. I kind of can see that way of thinking. Not so much around a meeting or around a table with a whiteboard, but certainly certain things that we want to learn or experience during life. So I get it, but I also understand that there's a lot of a woo-woo factor to that. So yeah, I think we have to get our heads past the human aspect, that you've got this sensory experience of only 5 senses before you can comprehend anything beyond that. So, bit of a deep question to fire straight off with first, but about as much as I can do on that one, unfortunately. Jane. So good evening, Jane. Good evening, Charlie. Can animals see spirit? I think so. I think it's they haven't been taught not to see spirit. So as a child, if you saw someone, you've got a parent saying no, you can't. There's nothing there. Stop worrying. There's nothing there. Don't. There's nothing to see. So it kind of gets shut down around 6, 7, 8 years old, doesn't it? And there used to be a post. I haven't seen it for a while on Facebook. I would have saw it where there's 2 dogs sitting there looking at a spirit person, and it said something like the reason dogs can see spirit is because the other dogs aren't telling each other that it's not there. So I think it's a learned experience, and we learn to live within the culture, the society. So education, I think, given freedom, we experience a lot more. Can't believe in magic if you can't, if your eyes aren't looking for the magic. It becomes very cultural. What's that? Oh, taking the boardroom and physical tables and boards out. So that's just a continuation from WooFit. I said there's not much I can add to that, though, given we need to remove the human element. They're not going to have tables because tables is a matter. It's a physical matter. Yeah. Do you believe in aliens? I think alien is used very poorly now. So we think of little green men running around. Alien literally means something we don't understand. So do I believe that? Absolutely. Do I believe in little green men or lizards or that sort of stuff roaming the earth as one of us? Not really for me. But something else, yeah, absolutely. Tara, so hi Tara, so and Joe. Can we ask questions here? Yep, this is exactly where you ask them, Joe. I don't know. It is everything coming out all right? I don't know if anyone's no complaints as yet. Cool. Evening, Marie. How long did it take you to get consistent word of mouth client list for readings? Did this improve as your mediumship improved? I don't want to advertise or do social media. So far, it's working well. And I didn't want to advertise either. I think your work should speak for itself. I think there's a lot to be said for mediums that just build their client list through reputation, through the legwork, basically, and those that write a letter to everyone, ring everyone, ask for it, plaster it everywhere. I think it's better off to do word of mouth. The right clients will then find you. I think the advertising part of it's open to everyone, so you're going to get all walks of life walk through the door in effect, which can be troublesome at best. So me personally, I know there's millions of commercial mediums out there, but that style is just not for me. I'd rather my work speak for itself, and then they contact me in accordance, whether that be for demonstration or for readings or for teaching. Tony, good evening, Tony. I have been working on this for a while, and I still cannot divide spirits. Say two grandmothers and evidence comes in. I cannot tell which one says what. Evidence just ping pongs back and forth. Then I would, for me, I would force it. So I now need my board, so I'll do my plug here. So a couple of spaces left on Feb 18th, Zoom class. March the 1st, Zoom workshop. Some spaces on the 14th, Australian time zone workshop, and 8 spaces left on the 5-day trip to New York. Contact the website or the Medium Charlie Kelly Facebook page, and express interest, where details will be given to you on demand. So back to Tony's question, can't separate, don't know how to separate, it just ping pongs backwards and forwards. I would do it in this way. I would just separate them. I would say, right, I am aware of 2 of you there. One of you stand this side, the other one stand this side. My concern is you don't know there's 2 there. And if you don't know there's 2 there, then the client is telling you there's 2 there, which will then cause the conflict. If you're not aware of 2, you would have to speak up and say, no, I've got 1. I know it's this one, so yes, no to this one that I've got all the time. If the client is offering 2, the client will have 2, and the client will be ping-ponging in their head, not you, therefore causing the confusion. If you're aware of 2, then you can separate. So you say, right, you on the left, you on the right, and 1 at a time. We'll do it simultaneously, or we'll do 2 from you, 2 from you. You're in control. To me, it sounds like your client is dictating that, and you've followed what the client has said. But I'm limited information, so maybe add to it at the bottom there, Tony. Lorraine, hi Lorraine. I've got no idea how to say your name, so Chili Shoe. So another question sent in from someone called Wilma. I went to a demo, and the medium brought my father through. I didn't want to speak to him and said this. I asked if he could please move on to someone else in spirit for me, or go to the next message, but he kept bringing the message through, which resulted in a highly emotional situation. How would you handle this, and what's your advice to other mediums if this happens? My style of work, I tend to build up my communicator, so this will be through the form of evidence. Then I will go out with it directly at that point, or throw it out or to an area. And then let's say I come to you with your father, to which you're agreeing, yes, that's my father. But at that point, you say to me, Charlie, I don't want this communication. I understand everything you're saying as my father, but I don't want the communication. Then I would stop immediately, and then go to my next communicator. But the likelihood is it will be for someone else, not for you, because I did my job on the evening. I tried to bring them forward. You've acknowledged it, you've accepted it, but you've informed me I don't want it. Then I will stop at that point, and move on. I advise every medium to do that. The ones that are forcing it ends up with situations like you found yourself in, that is very awkward. That would have damaged the energy for the evening. It would have been hard work, all for the sake of their ego. And it's just not worth it. I'd rather just go, fine, I've tried. That's absolutely fine. Know that I've tried. Now I'll move on. And then I would move on. So sorry to hear that you've had a scenario like that, Wilma. But in very simple terms, I would have stopped the reading the moment you asked me to. Tony, I am hugely skeptical of trance mediumship. With mental mediumship, I can validate the evidence. Trance seems just like platitudes. How can I accept it? I like the skepticism, to be honest with you. The downside, where you're from, Tony, in the States, they call channeling trance. And it's not. That's channeling is not what I would call trance. Trance mediumship is, it can be highly evidential, more so than mental mediumship. But if it is philosophy, or they're speaking of, then they won't insult your intelligence or your reason. And it will be profound with what's coming through. You will know the spirit world's there because you will absolutely feel it immediately. The problem is with trance is the dilution of the medium's mind, which sometimes that you will be aware of, like a use of a regular word that they will use, or their tone. But proper trance mediumship, you won't be in doubt. So your skepticisms may be a good indicator, that you're not witnessing trance. As I said, you're in the US. We see a lot of channeling, and channeling is not trance work. For me, channeling's highly delusional. A lot of it, making a lot of reference to the individual speaking, the medium in that, is it a medium argument? But it'll be about the individual, or it'll tell us how to do everything, like peace and love and all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't change that. I would keep your skepticism, and when the right trance mediumship is presented in front of you, you will absolutely know it. Yeah, that's what I would keep it as you are. Is that someone super chatting? Thank you very much, whoever that was. I don't know where I go to check that now. So, okay, Marie. So thumbs up. Thank you very much for the super chat. Very, very kind. Do I know Marie? Is this a changed name, or don't know if I know you, Marie, but thank you very much for the super chat. Everyone else, I don't know if you know about the super chat. It's a shameless plug. I don't like doing it, but there is a super chat option there, at the bottom, which just helps me support the channel. If you don't want it to go through YouTube, I do. I've set up a PayPal account, chaz.kelly at hotmail.co.uk, where any donation, whether it be $1 or £1 or $100 or £100, it just all gets put to one side and goes back into the channel. for equipment, which just so happens I have equipment right here beside me. You'll see it in a couple of days, but I now have the EOS R with the new 15 to 35 RF glass. It is phenomenal. I haven't left it alone, so the videos as of next week will be all over the channel, will be on the new upgraded equipment, and that's via the super chats and the PayPals that I get. I had to put maybe a couple of £2,500 towards it, but new toy, which will just up the quality. I've just got to learn the color science on this stuff now, so I'll be in transition, messing a few videos up, but the content is what the value is. The visual aspect is kind of a bonus. Okay, so where did I get to there? Tony, that's it. Amanda, hi Amanda, that just jumped like mad. Where are you? Oh, there's a lot on already, isn't there? Oh. Joe, so hi Charlie, do you believe, as many do, that trance enhances mediumship? I do believe that. I think the development of trance enhances mental mediumship. It helps the measuring stick, as I call it. There is videos on my channel, what I call the measuring stick, but it gives me the markers for when I know I'm in a good place, and that discipline of holding that kind of energy from the team, from the spirit world, will let me go for longer. So I think it develops focus in mental mediumship. It improves your relationship. I can hold the power or sustain the power for longer. So absolutely, it's just win, 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 win by developing trance to enhance mediumship. Absolutely. Julie, hi Charlie, hi Julie. Helen, so I think I spoke to you earlier, Helen. That name looks familiar. Anyway, Helen, hey, what if the sitter wants you to bring someone specific through? However, what if that spirit may not want to use you as a choice of medium, meaning they'd rather use another medium? It won't happen. Oh wow! So thank you, Elaine, for the PayPal. Helen, there is videos on my channel, communications to order. I do them to order. They will not ever turn up. They're always there. The philosophy of spiritualism is a oneness. So if the client is in the room, then everyone that's been part of that client is also in the room. It's an omnipresent energy. So it can't fail, which is wonderful when you're trying to develop mediumship. It can't fail. I can't believe I left my laptop on. There you go, that's muted. So it can't fail. The only failing in amongst all the mechanics of mediumship is always that of the instrument, your mind. So I know I can do communications to order. I'll go and get the one that you want. It never fails. It never will fail. The only failing would be me. So if they wanted someone specific, I would just go get someone specific. Yeah, it sounds a little bit blunt there, but that's how I operate. Where are we? Len, Alberta, Canada. So hi, Len. I want to get Canada on my books. I've had a few inquiries from Calgary. Now, you from Alberta. I want to do Toronto. So I think Canada's going to be on the scene soon enough. Tara, so what are things people can practice to dial in their connections to spirits, specifically if information is coming through slowly and the reading is having long pauses and just not flowing very quickly? So what can you do to practice that? It would just be the practice of expression. So telling people stories, become a good communicator in your physical life. If you're someone that's a little bit shy and a little bit timid, then that's going to come across in your mediumship. That's natural because your everyday balance is that, so it will naturally flow into your mediumship. So to break down the comfort zones, what we would do is we would become a lot more social in that aspect. Maybe strike conversations in a supermarket or in a coffee shop. And this will speed up the communication process as a practice. You haven't got to do mediumship because your everyday person is up and running very, very quickly. This will naturally transcend into your mediumship. As for specific information, I tried to upload a video yesterday. I don't know if any of you noticed that one didn't go up. I tried to do it yesterday. The internet provider went down again yesterday. I spent maybe 10 hours trying to get the video up. It didn't go up. And if I would have released it today, it wouldn't have done any favors for the channel because of the live feed tonight. So it'll go on tomorrow. There's 3 done, and two of them, 2 out of the 3 are on the specifics of evidence and information. So I'm just going to set you aside for the evidence being specific till the video releases tomorrow or the day after. Tomorrow or Monday it'll be, so don't do Saturday. I might do Saturday this week. We'll see. Murray, on the tail end of the animal thing, I think the same as to why children always see spirit. They haven't been told that. Exactly. That's exactly it. The system breaks them down. It's the system that does that. Education, schooling, society starts to dull down that sense as such. Hi from Arkansas. Is that how you say that? Ginny with a G. Hi Mary. Question from Andrew: is trance the same thing as altered state of consciousness? Yes, it's an altered state. That works. I ain't drawn this for a while. Look, it's looking terrible. He looks evil, that one. Not making him smile a little. Well, that looks evil. I need to wipe that out. Look at that. Terrifying. Crime Watch. Let's make him a little bit more rounded. That looks even worse. Anyway. Oh, that looks terrible. So on the chart of 27, this is normal. Anything under that, all the way around, is an altered state. That's what it falls under, an altered state. Trance takes place at around 7 hertz. That's a heavy altered state, but it's an altered state. So that answers that question. Is trance the same as physical mediumship? Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Completely different category altogether. Trance is spoken word, trance healing. Physical mediumship is a whole new area of mediumship. One that requires a lot of sitting to get you in the right place. So no, it's completely different. It's the equivalent of like Reiki and spiritual healing. They're completely different. And trance mediumship and physical mediumship are completely different. Nothing alike. Oh, I always struggle with your name. Triangle. I call you Triangle, didn't I? But I don't know. Triangle. Hi, Charlie. Other than legal issues, why would a medium not allow someone under the age to get a personal reading? I just think, it's a massive debate, I suppose, isn't it? It is a massive debate. Well, I'm not sure I could do it. It's just the understanding. Let them be a kid. It's rather than the talk of death or family members and life experience and the spiritual philosophy that goes with it. I think just let them be a kid. Let them just go. go mess about, go break some rules, and go have fun. Just there's a whole lifetime where they can learn about the spiritual aspects and what it's all about. But while they're a child, let them be a child. I think, in my opinion. Soul's inner voice. What's important? Names, proof, or message on mediumship? For me, not the message, because the message is for everyone. There's life after life, and the implications of that message are enormous. So things like worry and your intent and your motives and your ethics and how you lead your life now has a greater impact because life goes on. Proof, for me, would be important. Names are not important. I mean, that says San Pellegrino water in there, all the way from Italy. But that's what that's what the name says. But you don't know. You don't know until you open it and drink it and taste it and experience it. You don't know if that's water. That could be vodka in there, and I just put this on it. So the label, the name, is unimportant to me. The proof, I think proof out of your options there are the most important. Sarah Owens, hi. Crystal, hi. Andrew, good evening and thanks. What do lucid dreams mean? As have them all the time and sometimes wake my wife up talking in a weird voice. Had this as far back as I can remember. I don't really have enough knowledge on it, on lucid dreaming. There is a chap I know of his wife, Jade Shaw, that does the astral traveling, but her husband, Charlie Ley, Charlie Morley, is like a voice that travels around the world, as far as I know, with lucid dreaming. He's actually got a channel here on YouTube, Charlie Morley. I think it's Charlie Morley, where he will be able to answer that. It's not my field, I'm afraid, and I don't have enough information, and I'm just blagging it if I try to give you an answer there. I don't know is the answer. Miss Silver 41. That felt like someone touched me on the head there. Sorry if I missed this. No, you haven't missed it. But how do you get word of mouth for your readings if you're not advertising? How do you find people to read? What I did was I read for friends of friends. And then they went away and they spoke, and then I had friends of friends of friends. And then once I built up enough there, they would then go out and tell work colleagues and on nights out, and then before you know it, the diary was full. So I just read for friends of friends. I didn't really like reading for my mate, so it would be a mate of a mate, and that's how I did it. I don't know. I wouldn't even know where to start, other than a Facebook post of saying, "Hi, I'm offering readings." Then you're going into the realms of that live reading stuff, and it's just not for me. I just don't agree with it in any context. So I would start with friends of friends, or friends of family members, and then they'll go and talk, and then they'll go and talk, and before you know it, you'll be run off your feet. So I would try that. Marie, so back to my first question. How long did it take you to get a consistent client base? Did it take months, weeks, or years? I think a consistent client base. The way you've worded that, I don't like the way you've worded that, so I don't mean to be a dick about it, but I don't like reading for someone twice. I just don't like it. So I read for one person, and then they'd go away and talk, and then they would come back, and then I'd read for them. So I very rare I'll read for someone twice. Very rare. So my client base picked up maybe I would say 2-3 months, and I had enough to go with. And then it's all about your accuracy and your consistency on doing that for the more people that you see and they go away and talk in that way. So for me, it would have been months. I think it definitely weren't years. Um, I think I had a huge influx within a few weeks, you know. But you could do it if you've got like a circle. You can offer friends of the circle members. If you've got 10 people in a circle, then you've got 10 readings for 10 friends. I did a lot of mine for free initially, maybe the first 50 for nothing. And then after that, started to charge, and then after so many, upped it, and then after so many, upped it again. So I would say months in that one. Um, Tony, absolutely correct. Not aware if there's two there. Thank you for the response. Then the client's leading the reading, and so you just need to take control of the reading. So for those people that don't understand what I'm saying there, Tony asked earlier that she don't know how to separate two people, and the way that she had worded it, I can see that the client is suggesting that maybe Tony has two people there, which I don't believe is the case. I think the client is thinking of two. Once we dial in which one you think it is as the medium, then yes, no, don't know to what I'm saying to this person. The client will usually, for the majority of the reading, say, yeah, well, I can still take that for both. I can still take that for both. And then it's just back and forth consistently, which is a nightmare then. Ian, hope you're well, Ian, too. So thank you for thanks for asking. Sarah Owens. Since I've been sitting in the power and sitting with the spirit team on an hour on a Sunday, I asked them if they can help me with my mediumship, and I asked if they can say hello to me. Yesterday I woke up and heard a man say hello, and that's thanks to you for helping me in the last Q&A. My pleasure. What I would do is then, now you're getting somewhere with that. I would mix it up a little bit. Maybe have asked for an emotional experience, or a color experience, or a visual experience, a sound experience. Don't make any kind of a limitation on that, but ask for the scenario. You know, then give them your hour, the Sunday hour, and know that they're going to deliver it. They've proved they're going to deliver it. You've had your proof. So now what you do for the hour is you let it happen, and if you're aware of it, great, that's wonderful. If you're not, you know you missed it. Not that they didn't try or didn't try and get it there, but you missed it. And this understanding of your mediumship will change it almost instantaneously, because you know that you missed it somewhere, because you know they are delivering. So that will set your mind up differently for your mediumship now. To go away again, the Sunday's coming up soon, isn't it? So give it a go. And then on the next one, you can let us know how you got on now. My back is absolutely killing me. So I did say on the last Q&A, I'm going to sit at my bench, and obviously I didn't do that. So there's that sticker from Marie. Joshua, so what's the oldest contact you have made? Hitler, Elvis, Buddha. No, it doesn't work like that. The oldest contact will be that of the client. I don't know age. I think one from memory, I done at 103 years old. But I'm thinking of that off the cuff. The connection to the reading has to be within the room. So I can't just go and get Buddha or Elvis and do an evidential mediumship reading from that. Holds no value for me, that. I'm certain there will be people out there doing that kind of stuff. But for me, the mediumship's not of any kind of quality. LC, hello. How do I explain psychic connection long distance to someone? For example, a phone reading connecting across the country. You've got to take the human aspects of it again away. So use it like that. So that would make it physical matter. There it is. It's there. It's very close. But if I can't move that light, but if I raise that up, the shadow of the light will go over it, and it would eventually cover that. If I lift it high enough, it will go over it. The shadow will go over it, and the frequency or the vibration, whatever term you want there, is much higher in the spirit world. So it's literally nothing. There is no distance for them. Yeah, that's the simplest way I can put it. Yeah, the simplest way. If I like, we see a face of the moon, don't we? We see it. I can look out my window and I will see the face of the moon. But if I'm on the moon, then I can only see as far as my eye can see. Here on Earth, I look at the moon and I can see it, especially if it's full. I get the full sphere of the moon, and that's the same as the communication. So to go from one side of the moon to the other is not even an eye movement; it's a flicker, and I can see the entire surface of the moon. That's how the psychic connection is explained in that sense. Lorena. Hi there. Looking to see if family or friends have messages to me. They absolutely will have messages to you, Lorena. But I don't do live readings. For me, it's just a little bit too personal. If you're looking for things like psychic work, I'm not really your guy. Because that's your life, your decisions, and where your life is moving. It is of a psychic nature. Mediumship is evidence that loved ones still exist. So sorry for the bad news, I suppose. Andrew, what? Oh, that jumped again. Wow, you lot are in the comments today, ain't ya? Was that there? Yeah. So what do lucid dreams mean? Yeah. You thought I missed it, didn't you, Andrew? I was making my way through them. Joe Rawlinson, I am finding repetitive evidence coming through. Occupational hazard feels inauthentic. I want to go deeper with story and meaningful evidence. The problem with that, Joe, is that you are giving value to what the evidence is. What I find usually, let's take a car accident for example. I will find that if I've got 3 or 4 demonstrations in a week, and I'm working on my evidence, let's say, and it's in the area of trauma, I will find that I have like 3 or 4 communicators that will come through in different dems, but all pretty much passing by the same way. A car accident, a car hitting a lorry, something like that. So the repetitive nature would be there. However, my team are helping me dial that element of my mediumship in. So they keep giving me cases to dial it in, try again. And so I get this repetitive nature in that sense. The evidence is the evidence, what you deem is evidence, not another person in this room will understand your version of evidence. To someone, a name is evidential. To Charlie, it's nothing. It's just a name. A color may be evidence. A memory. A very normal object like a ball could be highly evidential to someone, but not to you. So I would lose the gauging of what you think is evidence, um, and the repetitiveness is your team trying to dial it in so you don't make the mistake or grow in that part of your mediumship. This is normal. So I would maybe not worry too much about that. To get their story is more than just me answering it. There's different techniques that can be used. So I tend to teach my students the depth of a story. It is the same as yours, maybe you go and have a coffee with someone and it's not someone you open up to completely. It's just that they were there in the coffee shop. You do your small talk, but then your closest friend comes in and the conversation just goes off on a tangent and goes really deep. That's what you're trying to achieve in mediumship, trying to get them to open and go into that in-depth part of it. And there's lots of techniques that we can use to do this in mediumship and highlight it. But they're more than just me just going, just do this. It's not that simple to get the depth to it. What I would do as a practice at Circle, maybe something like that, I would exhaust the current situation. So if they're on their passing condition, for example, I would exhaust every avenue to learn what was important, what I could have left out, and then in future, right, that's important, that doesn't feel important, I'll get rid of that. So I would maybe play around with that for a little while. You've said underneath, I don't get story and meaningful. I just notice repeat type of things coming up. It's because you're comfortable with it as well. Like you recognize it, you see it, you grasp it, and now I'll give it. It's a comfort thing. When we're doing things like that, the story will absolutely be there. It's how you're looking for it that maybe needs slightly adjusting. I always ask them. A lot of people don't understand that aspect of my mediumship, where if they want to talk about the bike, then I'll see the bike and I'll go, yeah, I see your bike, but what about the bike? And then there's a story that comes with that. So give it a go. Give that a go. Try it. But I would recommend maybe, like one of the small Zoom classes or something where I go a little bit more in depth with things like that. um. Okay. So Ginny with a G. Charlie, I'm wondering if you might have a message for me. I don't. I don't do that. It's not that I can't do it. I just For me, I think the spirit world are bringing forward so much healing. The essence, the fact of continuous life is best just between me, you, and your loved one, not in a forum where there's lots of people. It's just not my thing. And we've got over 50 people in here. It just don't seem right to me. It's just my view. I'm sorry if I know some of you don't agree with it, but it's my view. It's too special to be plastering all over social media. But the Q&As are for greater understanding or to sit with your loved ones yourself. What does it mean when you have so Lorena says, what does it mean when you have a dream and then in future day you find yourself in the dream but awake, like deja vu? What does it mean? Usually, this is going to sound really simple, and it usually means that you're reading the energy. So there's so many, I don't know how to best describe it, but when something is unchangeable, through cause and effect, the natural law of cause and effect, some things are unavoidable, unchangeable. Then I think your mind has just read it. And dreaming is just it's not restricted by physical laws. And what I mean is that you can fly in a dream, or you can fall from a great height in a dream. You can breathe underwater in a dream. All of these things can't be done physically, but in a dream, logic has shut down. So I think you're reading the energy, and then when it happens in the coming days, you're a little shook by it, like, oh my god. But I think you're just reading the energy. So by the way you've wrote your question, you're interested, or you have an understanding of energy, mediumship, the spirit world. The curiosity can find some answers for you, which lead on to more questions, which will lead on to more answers, and before you know it, you're in development. So for me, you've just read the energy, and that sounds so simple, but that's what it is, I'm afraid. um, Claire, so hi Charlie, late to the party. It's cool. Get a really fuzzy feeling in the back of my head when I'm trying to do mediumship. Is this normal? It will be normal for you, Claire, because you're looking for it now. So consciously or subconsciously, it's happened. So now you look for it, almost like a calling card. So if you was to do a reading or to connect to the spirit world and you didn't have the fuzzy feeling in the back of your head, you would almost question it, like, oh, I didn't have that feeling I usually get. So it becomes a calling card. And I don't do the calling card thing anymore. It's for me, it takes energy for you to recognize the fuzzy feeling. And I'd rather that energy be used in the communication. So it's because you're looking for it now. It's an expected thing to be there. It will soon pass if you stop paying attention to it. In simple terms, there. Helen says, "Thank you, no problem. What are your views on crystal ball seeing?" Jane Garland. What do I believe it or not? It's let's assume it's that, so I can answer that. Yeah, I don't see why not. The energy is the energy. It's more, if you're doing it for a client, it will be their energy. The crystal ball is a tool, so it's a focal point to look, focus the mind on the ball, and now I get the information from the client. The information is actually coming from the client, not from the ball. The ball is it's like a prop or a tool for the person. If you're asking, with you sitting there with a crystal ball with no client and you're getting future events, that's a whole different discipline. That's under seership. Few and far between. I haven't seen good ones do it. But it's a whole different mechanic. So that would be seership. But that's on again, a natural law of cause and effect, reading unchangeable events through our actions as humans on the planet. You can foresee it. Seership. Client is just a psychic connection. You don't need the ball. Len Morgan, looking forward to seeing you. I look forward to seeing you too, Len. Danielle says, I have never been so sure I was on the right path, yet never so terrified at the same time. Any advice to break through self-doubt and terrible seeds planted by religious childhood? It's just it sounds terrible, but it's just a process of baby steps and moving forward, one step at a time, and you'll realize that the spirit world is just essence love. So you've got no reason to be fearful. Your view of God or creator or source, whatever it is, will completely change because you realize it's not someone that passed judgment in that sense. Self-doubt is, I mean, most people, if I ask them to write, are you self-doubting yourself at all? Most of them will answer, yes, I self-doubt myself. This is very normal, Danielle, at development. This is very normal. I'm sure all of us have been there. So try to enjoy it. Try not be scared. If there was any kind of harm or anything that could be done, you know, like I was going to be judged or I'm going to be punished for what I do, I wouldn't do it. And here I am still doing it. So, and everyone that does it on the chat will tell you the same. Danielle, it's wonderful thing to do. Chill out, relax. Sean. So hi Sean, hi Charlie. What's your opinion on God and spirit? Is spirit separate to God or just one and the same? Controversial. Controversial. So spirit is spirit for me, and the collective of that is God. That's a very simple way of putting it. For me, it's one of the same and separate. So it sounds contradictory. I fully appreciate that. I think we're viewing God as a being or something greater. I think God is here now, surrounding absolutely everything physical and on every dimension, without that sounding like spiritual jargon. Um, yeah, controversial. It's like my way of it's everything. All is one. Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna play with my head, that question. I need to find a better way of expressing that. My apologies for not being able to express that better. Tony, I try and approach each reading with the same intention and mentality. But it seems that sometimes certain spirits are so close and I get a lot of info. Other times it feels like I'm snatching. And that will be the same in your everyday life, Tony. You'll be someone that can really warm to someone. Um, uh, you know, if they like you, then you like them, and the conversation will just ebb and flow. The difficulty in the real life and in the spiritual aspect, mediumship, is when we have people that we don't get on so well with. We have this element of judgment, rightfully or wrongfully. We'll do that. We're human. And so if you're not good at dealing with problems in your everyday life, this will naturally transist into mediumship. So I don't know you on a personal enough level to say, yeah, you remember that conversation you had and that was difficult or awkward. If you would have handled it like this, it would have worked better for you. I don't have that way of or the experience with you to highlight it in that way. But you will encounter people that you just can't tolerate. I just can't be near them. I can't. They just drive me up the wall or whatever the reason. Because of that in your being, that will naturally transist to that kind of person in the spirit world. So if you've got someone that's very egotistical and you don't like the egotism, then if you have someone that was very egotistical trying to communicate, the barriers are up because this is how you respond naturally. So it's self work. You need to be able to have a normal conversation without the element of judgment in your everyday life. And that can take a little while to get that right. But that's where I would work on it, physical life, for it to naturally go into your mediumship. And you'll find that all communicators then will all come with no judgment and you will say what needs saying regardless. Sounds blunt, but it's the easiest process for you to overcome your problem. Julie, Charlie, I inquired on Facebook about family members and sharing experiences together. Yeah, okay. I need that question put up, Julie, so people understand what it is that I'm talking about. So I'm going to have to post it up, which is happening right now. When I get to it, I'll answer it. Ginny, R. Can store. I must have said it wrong. Arkansas. Oh, I can't. I've got no chances of saying that name. No idea. Smiley face back. Tony, do you do trance or do you ever teach classes on trance? Yep, both. I do trance and I teach trance. Yep. That will never go online. I won't do that online. Never ever. I know I said that about mental mediumship, but trance it's a whole different discipline for me. Mandy, hi Mandy. Sorry, first time here. That's cool, Ginny. Welcome. Soul's in the voice, thanks, no problem. You, me, and Spirit. That's the one I thought it was. With so much competition within mediumship, okay, there's already a problem with that statement, but what do you think is the best and most ethical way to help you stand out? I think you are going to say your evidence is the best way, but wanted to see. I walk my talk. So I will speak evidential, I will teach evidential, and then I will demonstrate evidential. So I walk my talk. I don't talk a good demonstration. I don't talk a good reading. I walk what I talk. And that speaks volumes. I'm sure not just you, me and Spirit, and I know a few names on here where they've seen mediums working, and they've spoke a much better dem than what they've done. You know, it's the way it is. But even on here, I know there are some mediums, training mediums, on this feed right now, where they mistake a psychic statement for an evidential statement. And I see it all the time. So my mediumship speaks for itself, and in turn, that's how it grows. Patience is key. I think you're looking for a good network, for a good reputation, for all that kind of stuff. I think you're looking maybe 6, 7, 8 years before the ripple gets out there. There is no shortcut to mediumship. If you find a shortcut, you will be found out very quickly. Rich, I did a psychic fair last week. One of your videos I just watched got me out of a bind with a reading. Thanks. No problem at all, Rich. Oh, this is probably a good point to actually say that to Rich. Rich, if you was to take that video and share that video with the hashtag no nonsense and hashtag mediumcharliekelly, you would be put into a draw for a free space on the New York seminar coming up on August the 1st to August the 5th. It's just a course. You would have to get yourself there and accommodation, but the course has been paid for by a sponsor of the channel that wants to be anonymous. So not just you, Rich, that's anyone that's watching here now or on the replay. That competition is live. It's a NYC free place. I'll get the video put in the comments in a moment. It will come up at the down there. Just have a look at the connection. Open a new window. Open the video. Watch it after the feed. Follow the instructions, and you can have a free place on the New York thing. So that's announced at the end of the month or the beginning of next month. The winner of that. It's done electronically. The more shares you do, the more names you have in the hat. Then I click a randomizer, and it will pick one person. So the law of probability there. If you have more names in that pot, you stand more chance of winning. That simple. So Miss Silver 41, will there always be a message? I honestly sometimes feel they have come just to say hi. I'm still here. For me, I think there's always something to the message. You have to remember, for me, the message is that life goes on. That's the message. But I think the way we've trained ourselves over the years and our relationship with the spirit world, we give it as a specific. What I tend to find, I'm not sure I can draw this, but let's see if I can do it. Sorry for the pause. Try and speed up. So what we usually have is the start. You know, I have a man here. He's blah 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 blah. Then the evidence, so the story unfolds here, and then the message throughout the communication from start to finish. Usually, the message all ties up with these little flagging points that go throughout the reading, and then when it gets to the message part, all these flags usually meet up and have an overall message. So the message has probably been coming through the reading throughout the entirety of the reading as these red flags, I'm calling them. So the message is throughout. Maybe just go back over it, you know. So rather than just say hi, just go back to one of these, and it will give you a fuller message. So I've received another super chat there, so I will have a look. It's from Sean the Witch. So thank you for answering my question. That's my view as well. I believe we are God's creation, therefore spirits in the individual personal aspects of God, and God is the collective. You said it much better than me, Sean. That's how I should have said it. So yes, thank you very, very much for the super chat. It will go into the accounts and start trying to pay off this ridiculously expensive camera equipment that I have got for the channel. So where was we? Yeah, there. Oh, it just jumped again. Wow, you lot are on it today, aren't you? You're getting good at answering these, bringing questions forward. Overwhelming. Right, here we go. So Sarah says, thank you, Sarah. Miss Sil 41. Are you not posting your video on philosophy? You mentioned it in the last Q&A on philosophy. Did I? Can you remind me what I said? Other than just philosophy, do you mean my understanding of the spirit world? In all fairness, all my videos are of philosophy. I think it's an understanding that I've got there. But if I was very specific, if you can sort of nudge me, then I will do it. You know, I've got the camera here. That it's all set up. I'm ready to get 3 or 4 in the bag for next week already. So give me a nudge. Remind me what it is. Jane Garland, to make an hour with spirit, could I just relax in bed for an hour and think of the spirit world? Is that how you develop? I used to sit like here where I'm sitting now, and I would just sit. The intention would go to the spirit world, and then it would unfold. So it could it can be in bed. The downside for me, if I'm going to bed, I'm going to sleep. So that's why I chose the sofa. If you can sit in bed and not go to sleep and sit with the focus and the intention of the spirit world, then bed is absolutely fine. Right under your question, Jane, sitting in the power video is put up by admin there for you. Enos, good day, Charlie. Good day, Enos. Andrew, just found Charlie Morley will look after your lives. You're very welcome, Andrew. That should give you a better understanding. I'm not endorsing the work, but he's a known name in lucid dreaming. I'm sure I could pick the philosophy apart in some way through my understanding of the spiritual context. But he's a leading voice in that area. So I hope you find it of use. It's not what you know sometimes, is it? It's who you know. And I met his wife last year. Miss Brit 86, hey, right back at you. Tony, I'm afraid of heights, and I did a reading recently where someone took their own life by jumping off a building. I felt the movement of high velocity, but I didn't know the exact cause of death. Did the spirit sort of spare me the exact cause because of the fear of heights? Oh, what one is that? I've done a video on that, Tony, and I don't know. Let me very quickly just check my app to see which one it is. Um, it is. It is. It is tomorrow's video. Um, where I talk about that exact thing. You're not ready for that part of it because of the fear of heights. Then it makes sense that your mind would go into a blind panic if you're at a great height. So that they find different ways of doing it. So yes, they spare you that because they know you. They know you better than you. Therefore, they won't do it that way. So yes, that's exactly what it is. So Joe, thank you. Definitely up for a Zoom. Yep, just contact admin on the Facebook page or the website, and you'll be in. It'll be done. Great to see you again live. Happy Valentine's Day. However, happy Valentine's Day to you, Timothy. I hope you're well. And I forgot it's Valentine's Day tomorrow, though, isn't it? Yeah. So you're just getting it in early there. So yeah, that's a hugely expensive commercial day tomorrow, isn't it? So cool. Xena Blue just popping in to say hi. And say hi and thank you for this channel. We'll watch later. Thank you, Xena Blue, if you are still here. Vicky says, Charlie, you mentioned trance would help your mental mediumship. Is trance healing different than trance? Do you teach trance healing? Trance healing is a massive subject all on its own. Do I would teach it completely separately. I don't do trance healing. Not no, that's a lie. I don't offer trance healing. I don't do it as as something you can have. Yeah, I don't do it. I would teach it completely differently to the spoken word of trance. I would teach it differently. The healing aspect. It's a huge area, so it would be a discipline all on its own. So yes, it would be different. Yeah. Timothy can't have the skill level for ambidextrous or multitasking. Fascinating how one man street musician does it and looks so easy. Absolutely, and it's one of them. I think it's just practice, isn't it? You just get used to it, and you're not even thinking about it. I was watching I'm trying to teach myself guitar this year. Something on the bucket list. I've got a nice acoustic guitar. And I'm trying to teach myself that. And I was watching a guy the other day, and his fingers were like this, up and down, all over the place, and like up and down the fretboard. And someone asked him like, "How on earth are you processing that?" And he just said, "I don't even think about it. It just happens now." So I think it's easy for him because of the hours and hours that he's put into it. But yeah, multitasking on a massive level. Miss Britt, when I am given a reading, I can sometimes be swept away by the energy, almost like I get so energized I feel spacey and have to continue to try and focus in and remember to ask questions and get information. Any advice on how to get more present or grounded so I can communicate the message better? No, I wouldn't do that. By you being energized is an indication that your awareness has moved to the spirit world. That's exactly what you want. To be more grounded and more involved in the communication, your readings will get worse, I'm afraid. So I definitely wouldn't want to get you away from that. In that case, I think your work will speak for itself. I would let it plug away the way that you are doing it. Afterwards, I've got no problems giving you grounding techniques. Drink water, eat something. Put the telly on. That will be something that will ground you off. But You should be energized when you're going to the spirit world. You're a limited force um, connecting to an unlimited, unrestricted source. You should feel completely energized. So what you're saying is right, and I wouldn't want to change that in any way. Timothy says it's like facing one's fear. Break an egg, make an omelette. Absolutely. The height thing, I assume you're talking about there. I was petrified of heights, so I climbed a very big mountain in the Alps with a friend of mine. Try and break the fear of heights. Yeah, absolutely. So I like Tim's way of saying it. Break an egg, make an omelette. So yeah. Timothy says, what ingredients go into the omelette is up to you. Absolutely. I like your way of thinking, Timothy. I have no idea how to say your name. I am so sorry. So I'm going to call you Angie because that's as close as I can get it. So thank you for the channel, Charlie. Oh, hold on, Angie. Let me get back to you because someone else has super chatted and I need to thank them. It's Christine Smith and she's saying thank you. Thank you. You're saying thank you to me for sending me a super chat. That's I like how that works. So thank you very, very much for your super chat, and it will just go into the account to help fund the channel. So it is much appreciated. Thank you so much. So back to Angie. Thank you for the channel, Charlie. So inspiring. Sitting for trance helps me dim the analytical. Good. But also makes me more passive. More pauses in my active. What are your thoughts on this? So one of my colleagues, I can say, someone I used to work with, I'll say, is a trance medium, and they would call it the naughty corner. You're going into a very passive place. So with trance, it's kind of like here is. If I can get this up here. So here is not good. This is over dilution. This is very, you're too much involved in it. And down here, nothing's happening. It's unworkable. Unworkable down here. So the way I get my mediumship or trance mediumship into the right place is I almost have to go to the passive because of the way I taught myself. Then I have to have an active thought to back me up into the active zone, which is here. And this is where the trance will take place. So when you're too passive, you need to move the mind by activating a thought that you are too passive. You're in the naughty corner. It's an unworkable energy. It's energy, but then nothing can happen in there. So you need to have an active thought. The downside to that is the more and more attention you pay to it, you pull yourself right back up into the logic, which will also pull you out of trance. That's why it's development. So you get your marker, find where you are, and it will work for you eventually. So give that a try. Oh, is your name? What are your thoughts on this, Jeffrey? So I was calling you Angie, which is probably bad for you. So that was from Jeffrey. I need to try and remember that. But thank you for your question. Tommy Limit. Why do I hear a high-pitched ring in my left ear a couple of times a day? Feel as if someone is passing me by. That could be the reason. It could be some medical problem also. So to eliminate that, I would maybe book an appointment with an audiologist and just double check that there's nothing going on there. And then after that, if your intent is someone is passing by, you are the instrument, you're in control. So what I would do in that scenario is I would voice it. That ringing hurts or irritates me. Can we find another way of doing it? I acknowledge the ring. I acknowledge you're there, but I need a different way because that's not helping me. And it will change if it's them. So give that. I would, eliminate it. Book an appointment with an audiologist. And then after that, then look at the development. Let's put your health at the forefront first. Let's get the all clear on that, and then I would then try that what I just said there. the great news is you can just watch this back on replay at the 1 minute 19 mark, 1 hour 19 mark, and you can listen to my bit there. So make a note. Timothy, yeah, I do make folks nervous by just showing up. Cool. Jane Garland is the 7th crown chakra, spiritual awareness and God. I'm not really one for the chakra kind of stuff, Jane. It's just too much. It's just too much thinking for me. If it's like, is my 4th in alignment? Is my pineal gland calcified? It's just too much thought for me. I just move my mind to the spirit world. They turn up. I do my job. I think at that point, if I start overthinking the process, I ruin the process. So I don't really pay attention to that, and I'm not really the guy to ask on that. It's just not my thing, unfortunately. So I can't really help you there. Sorry. I just think I want to give them the largest portion of the pie as I can. And with me having thoughts of chakras and grounding and all that kind of stuff, I'm just eating their bit of the pie. So I just don't do it. Tinnitus, yeah, that's I didn't know if I was pronouncing it right, or I certainly wouldn't have attempted to spell it, Timothy. But tinnitus would be the thing that I would get checked out. Yeah. M. Lansing, higher. Would you also feel like you're snatching and grabbing for things if the spirit is communicating something you don't know about or haven't experienced, like not familiar with? Yeah, it would feel that way. I've experienced that where I feel like I'm going round the houses with bits of information. That's absolutely what it would feel like there. And that was in connection to the storytelling part of it. Like you, yeah. So it would be it will feel like you're plucking information from the intelligence, because there is no reference base. So what they'll do is they'll get as close to the reference base within your consciousness, within your understanding, and then go from there. So absolutely, M. Lansing, it will feel like you're snatching at it at some point. Mandy Mooney, hello, glad to be here. I am glad that you're here also. How are we doing? Yeah. Nearly pressed the wrong button there. The ringing in the ears can occur, sudden drop of air pressure, as well as ear, nose, throat issues. Yep, so that's Timothy responding to Tommy. And that's why I just said, let's just get a clean bill of health and then take it from there. Julie's question, I would like to know about my daughter and I had an awakening and she started developing shortly thereafter. We live approximately 4 hours from each other. Twice in the last 6 months, she had texted me in the middle of the night. I had happened to wake up just before text came through. The first time we both saw the same spirit in her house, in the same place, doing the same thing. Last weekend, she texted that there was a loud noise and she could feel someone there. I connected and saw the spirit clear as day as she took me through my daughter's house and into the kitchen. I explained everything laying and where it was laying on the counters. My daughter got out of bed and went to the kitchen and sent me pictures immediately to show me what spirit had shown me everything. Is that the end of that one? As it was. The spirit even showed me what my daughter had left in the oven, not on. And she explained the incident that had happened in the house 2 days before I didn't know about. I want to know if it is common amongst mediums who are related and close. It's common with mediums. You haven't got to be related and close because the spirit world is intelligent. So if it's the spirit world, it will show a form of intelligence which you've got there. It may just help or aid in your development. This is not scary or paranormal or anything like that. That is a clear intelligence of what is happening. It can come under remote viewing, which isn't involved with the spirit world. That's just you having a look with the remote view. That could also explain that. But is it common? Absolutely. Most of the people that are in development would experience this at some point. I understand that if it's new to you, that like, wow, this is magical. I can't believe it. And I feel a bit of an idiot for saying it, but the magic becomes every single day. So it's like you're desensitized to the magic, and it becomes normal. It becomes your normal. So this sounds like it's just a start, which is nice, I suppose, isn't it? Something to look forward to and experiment and develop. So I would do that. Did I miss one there? Yeah. In claircognizance, very subtle. My readings seem to have shifted. It feels like spirit is further away. I know they aren't because the evidence is still coming through, but it's not audible like before. It's more subtle because your faith in it is growing. So to give it like this like undeniable eye vision or like undeniable sound, all of these things take energy. So when your faith is in the right place, they can ease up on the sensory to give you more information. They're not wasting, or wasting sounds wrong, but they're not using um, an amount too much to get it through. They know that you're aware. They know that you have faith in them, so they can use it more efficiently to give you more information, more evidence, longer readings or connection. So this is again, Miss Silver 41. This is normal. It becomes subtle, but it means that you can do more. I I hope that makes sense. Blue Feather. Hi, Blue Feather. Better late than never. That's absolutely right. M. Lansing, and also not just any medium is for just any person. I don't know what that is all about, yeah. Well, I'd be concerned so. um, oh, I've lost that. Yeah. Um, You mentioned about how psychic mediumship get mixed up in readings, and I agree. However, I think people are used to people getting psychic and being okay with it as evidence. Big boats to turn around, right? Massive, massive boat, massive boat. And I have huge issues here in the UK with like people that are coming out. They go and see a well-known medium, and they'll say something like, "Well, he or she was amazing. He gave me my name. He gave me my daughter's name and her daughter's name." And what they did last week, and you're like, no, that's psychic work. That's not mediumship. That's psychic. But through the showmanship of their work, they convince you that it's from the spirit world, and so it's a massive problem, massive. And unfortunately, some of the mediums are the worst because they go away like, wow, it was out of this world. It's this, it's that. And you're like, no, that's psychic work. You've been caught in the moment. You know, it is a nightmare. Massive boats to turn around. You're not wrong there. Danielle, thank you, Charlie, for your answer. No problem. I'll just be over here watching your videos and chilling out. Cool. Miss Silver 41 philosophy video. Not sure word for word what you said, but you said it was going to be controversial. Most of my videos seem to be controversial. I'm sure I released it. It was. Let me find it. Hold on. Let me find it for you. That's the wrong app. All I've got now is apps for YouTube. It will be people backstabbing would have been a controversial one. I don't know if you've watched that one yet. Bad habits, that would have been a controversial one. Placement in mediumship, that would be a controversial one. Coming out of the closet, controversial one. Yeah. Timothy, can't unsee what you've just experienced. Drink something nice. M. Lansing, yes, it was going to be the most controversial so far. If he'd done a video, he was going to think on it to do. Yeah, probably. So Denise Lee, hi Charlie, good to see you. Hi Denise. I remember it was ages ago. You've been on the channel forever. So thanks for popping on. Thanks for popping on, checking it out. Vicky, thank you, no problem. Sarah, is there anything else I can do to help myself, or is just sitting in the power and sitting with my team enough? That's what I did, Sarah. So I would attend a circle just to practice what I feel I had learned. That was on I think it was on a Wednesday night. So I would put what I learned into practice. You know, sometimes it was beneficial, sometimes it was a waste of time. So maybe find like a little group of people online or in person where you can just exercise it a little bit, just see how you're getting on. But it was enough for me. That's how I developed. Christine Smith. Abilities and the spirit world seems like such a secret. Those with the ability are not as open or willing to explain this to others. I appreciate that you give advice and guidance without expectation. Christine, that was why I started the channel. Everyone's like, no, it's mine. It's mine. You're not having it. You're not having it. So I started the channel and I give it away, which pisses a lot of people off. And don't I know it? Oh. Anyway, you're welcome. I was looking for that myself in development. I'm still in development, but I was looking for that while early in my development. I couldn't find it and thought, I know, I'll go to YouTube and be that void that I found. Julie, thank you for all you do to help us in the development. Truly appreciated. I appreciate your sub, your thumbs up, and your comments. That all helps. That's probably a good time to say, if you aren't subscribed, then maybe hit that subscribe button. Maybe share it with a few buddies on your social media and ask them to sub. Did anyone else notice last time when I called out my hater that spends every day going through every video and clicking the thumbs down, and on the live, and I said, don't forget, hater, click the thumbs down, and they clicked it. Did anyone else notice that when it happened? Rather amusing. M. Lansing, Charlie is a medium who's not into all that other stuff. Is there? It's there on plenty of channels if people want the magical aspect or the aggravation, but it's not needed absolutely to do mediumship or psychic. You know, it's like I understand why people need it to still their mind, or you know, it's their process, it's their ritual. I call it a ritual. And if you need the ritual, you need the ritual. And until you show yourself you don't need the ritual, you'll do the ritual. I'm trying to give it a logic, a natural way of working. Just do it. Just, here you go. And there seems to be, I don't know what we're at now, to nearly 2,500 subs. There's 2,500 people that think like me. So, and I'm sure there's more. My channel just has to reach them. Yeah. So if you need it, it's there. If you don't need it, we're there. Tony, sometimes when watching people demonstrate, I see them repeating evidence that has already been validated. Are they doing this to keep the connection, or because they're waiting for the next bit of info? They'll be doing it for both of those reasons, or they'll be stalling. It'll be a stalling tactic. Maybe they've hit panic. So in the meantime, they will repeat the evidence. What the worst offenders are those that say the same thing in 3 different ways. So it'll be the same one statement, yes. They'll say it again in another way, yes. And then they'll say it again in another way. And before you know it, you're at 4 minutes and we've learned nothing new. It's just the same thing repeated. This will be down to showmanship. a lack of information, so it's a padding. Sometimes they don't even know they're doing it. So it sounds really good, but when you break it down, it's not so great. So it could be that it's weak for them, so they are going over the information to make it feel like it's closer to them again. Quite a lot of variables there in that. You've seen it, I've seen it. I think we've all seen that at some stage or another. I think just be mindful if you're a medium. It can happen. If it happens, correct it. Yeah, yeah. Jane Garland, I'm going to volunteer in the wildlife centre and domestic animals. How can I use my spiritual experience to help these animals? I've always loved a saying. Blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. And the purity of your heart, you don't need language for animals. Animals are sentient. They're a sentient animal. So the purity of you and your spirit, your true self, will be let out in a sentient way, and the animals will know that. So do it from the heart, with making it sound like spiritual jargon again, but actually do it from the purity that you are. You'll want to help, and you'll know exactly what to do with the animals. You'll know exactly how to behave or be with them, because they will know. It's a sentient thing. Language is just for humans, and we do that to manipulate. We do that to lie. We do that to project stories that are real or not so real. It's a mask. Language is a mask to hide our true selves behind. Sad, really, but that's fact. It jumped again. I think we're there. Yep. Yes, I was happy, just confused. Cool, Jane. That is amazing. I love animals. Cool. I've got like the local cats that come round. I've got into I go out in the morning. I have a cigarette and a Red Bull. I go out in the morning and I sit with the cats. I give them biscuits and I give them cat food. I'm up to about 5 now. It's getting a joke. I've even got a magpie that sits just outside and waits for the cats to piss off so he can come in and steal the biscuits. Yeah, it's insane. It's like Doctor Dolittle at my front door at the moment. It is insane. It's fine. I'd miss it if they didn't turn up now, though. So, um, what happened there? Judy, thanks. M Lane's in 2 of them in my tiny little pics, but I've got so many animals and drawn to me, and I am to them. Yeah, I think that's just our a spiritual nature. The more and more refined you become, most of you probably prefer animals over humans. That's a typical route that we go down. How can I learn remote viewing? Sorry if you have answered this, as I lost connection for 10 minutes. I didn't. I haven't spoke of it. How can you learn remote viewing? The way I helped myself to dial that in was I would go. Have I done a video on this? No? That needs a video, really. But what I did was I it was when I was living somewhere else, and 2 minutes. It was a 2-minute journey to my local newsagent shop, grocery store. You know, like a 7-Eleven or a co-op here in the UK. And I would walk that journey in my mind. I would walk it, and I would dial it in. I mean, really dial it in. And then I would actually try and be there as spirit. My spirit walks to the shop, goes to the shop. It was really good exercise, because what I would do is I'd maybe walk around to like the detergents, the soap powders, whatever you call it, and I would see which one was on offer, maybe. And then once I had my little exercise, I would then make my way to the shop. I'd buy my cigarettes or my a Red Bull or something like that, and I'd go past the detergents to make sure that I got it right. And I got better and better and better at it. So it was just something I did on a daily basis. I made that journey, so I knew the journey, so then I could make or convince my spirit to make the journey, and then go. After that, I started adding people in, who's there, what's going on, and then you'll turn up and you would see the person that you just saw in your mind, and it gets better and better. So that's a very simple technique to start with. Who asked me that? Yeah. Tim, there is a difference between what a medium and what psychic, learning to discern what is actual and what's just fit. Absolutely. There's a huge difference, Timothy. Huge. Miss Silva, thanks, buddy. Yes, your answers made sense. Reference subtle in. Cool. Karen, greetings from across the pond. Great channel. Thank you very much. I have had voices yelling at me over the past years. Is this an area I should be developing? Thank you. I don't see why not. Give it a go. If it, I would ask them politely to stop shouting. Just talk. And it will change immediately. You'll be surprised. Sarah Owens, thank you. I'll keep sitting with my team then. When I feel ready, I might join Circle. Perfect. That sounds perfect to me. Not too pressurized, and you'll gain something from it. So how are we doing for time? We're at an hour and 3/4. Cool. I need to press the wrong button there. So where'd I get to? Sitting in the power working so far. Do I really need to spend time with spirits? Do you need to spend time with spirits to be a medium? Absolutely. That's what a medium is. You are an instrument. You are a voice for the world unseen. You're just a voice. So you need to develop that. So yes, absolutely, 100%. Anything less than 100%, you will notice is not good for you. It won't help communication at all. Learn from one's haters. Thank you very much, Timothy. Like baking a cake, you'll improve it if one just watches how others do it. Absolutely. Ah, it jumps massively again. Yeah, there we are. Do you feel, Tony says, do you feel that personality of a spirit always comes up in a reading? When I follow the lead of spirit, sometimes I don't get a lot of info on who they were as a person. Is that bad? I did a video on that, Tony. Let me just I don't know if I uploaded it now I've said that. No, I haven't uploaded it. It's tomorrow's video. Very normal. And once you watch the video, you'll know exactly why that is happening. I'll give you a very quick answer so I don't prolong it for you. Just making sure. Yeah. If the example I used in the video was if you've got an 8-year-old girl in front of you, I've said that wrong. If you've got a lady in front of you at 45 years old and she lost her dad at 8 years old, then she does not know the personality of her dad. Her memory is 37 years old. And she won't remember how he handled this or what he did with that. Her memories will be that of an 8-year-old child. Daddy loves you. Dad protects you. Dad this. So that will become information. It will be like memories. but it definitely won't be personality because they won't remember. And your client will say, "Oh, I don't remember I was 8. Oh, I don't remember I was 8." So that means you're trying to find it. So that is in that instance when personality and characteristics won't come up in a reading because the memory's so old. It's restricted to an 8-year-old girl, and she just remembers the last time she was with her dad or the last, memories that would have been of affection, protection, whatever it will be. So that's why that will happen, Tony. That is in, I'm sure it's tomorrow's video. Should have been yesterday's video, but the internet provider ruined it again. So, cool. I've had 2 more. I think they're stickers, Um, so someone's found... Someone found a sticker button. So, thank you very much, Marie. Thank you very much. I've just got these little dancing characters on one of the boxes on my screen. So no, it's not bad, Tony. It's exactly what I expect. So that video you'll see it, and that will explain all of that. Some have personalities that have thick accents, and you wonder why. Magpies are smart. Magpies are very smart. They're smart enough to let the cats piss off before it steals its biscuits. Jane, hi Charlie. I sometimes wonder if what I give to people on past loved ones is what I am picking up psychically from their energy and not from the actual person in spirit. What do you think? I always try and give it a story, Jane, so I become involved in a conversation with that of the spirit world. If I just pluck information and give these like statements, just throwing statements out, the likelihood is that it is of their energy. So whenever, as a bad example, if I'm aware of Dad, but see, I have worked my entire career on knowing the difference between psychic information and mediumistic information. So it's a mistake that I will not make because I'm just so dialed it. I work on it all the time. But to try and help you, if you're someone that goes direct, I'm aware your dad's in the spirit world. The energy can tell you that from the person. The loss of a father will be within their energy. If you say things like shoes, power tools, red car. That's not information that I think is coming from the spirit world. I believe that would be that of the energy of the person and the memories associated with the father that they have lost. If I work with the spirit world, it's as the gentleman joins me, so I know he's there. I have a father with me, and he passes of a heart attack, and he had just got in from work. So this is late evening. You're all about to have dinner, and he drops in the kitchen. That's evidence. And so now, from there, I can communicate with him. So if I say, "What, you were in the kitchen and everyone was there?" Yes. Who was there? Then he might go, my children. So I go, right, I know his children were round the table also. So that's more than one because he said children. How many children? And he'll say 2 children. And I go, right, 2 children, boy or girl, boy and girl. And he might go 2 girls. So 2 girls. So I'm having this conversation. Therefore, I know I'm in communication. I'm not just going, hammer, apple, golf. I'm not just randomly plucking information. It's got intelligence to it. That's how you know the spirit world are there. Hope that helps, Jane. Denise, I have not been doing mediumship for the past year. I started a business Spirit helped me with. I just had no time with the success. That's kind of good in a way for you, isn't it? If your business is successful, that's that is good. So thanks, Charlie Woofit, W Woofit. No problem. Denise again. Do you think I can sit down and do a reading with someone, and I should be able to connect, or do you think I need to get back if you've got knowledge of the spirit world and you've developed and that kind of background to you, which you're suggesting you have, it will just feel rusty. It will feel slow. It won't be any weaker. Just you not believing in yourself. So you can just pick up the reins and carry on where you left off. So yeah, but the enhancement will be by sitting with your team, etc. It will improve it. Oh, jumps again. So could remote viewing explain deja vu? Not for me. Not for me. Deja vu, you're not going to like my answer. A lot of people don't like my answer. But let's say this is your life story. Making sure that's your life story. So you start here and you make your way around your journey of life. And for me, there's like flag points along the way to just let you know that you're on track. You're back on track. You're back to where the design was. And I think this is deja vu, deja vu, deja vu. These are deja vu, deja vu. Oh, what is going on with me? Can't speak now. So they're the points. That's what I think deja vu is. That sounds wrong. Done that in a video the other day. I couldn't say individual. And I left it in the video because I couldn't cut it out. I left no space for an edit. So I had to leave it in. 4 times to say individual. A zombie visits the detergent aisle. Even though... Marie, you have mentioned before how you did self-development or spiritual development. You also mentioned Silver Birch books, talking to your team. How else did you develop yourself personally and spiritually? I realized that the way I was as an individual in my earthly life, my physical life, the Charlie part of me, was going into mediumship. So I become more detailed in my everyday life. My mediumship become more detailed. I'm more patient. I become more patient. I'm more tolerant. I become more tolerant. I'm less judgmental. I get a bigger variety of communicators. I noticed whatever I implemented in my earthly life, I found in my mediumship. So that developed me personally and spiritually. And this was the biggest breakthrough for me in my mediumship. I knew I had to push comfort zones out of the way to become a better medium, which will in turn make me a better person. That was my biggest breakthrough. When sitting with my team at home, is it okay if nothing is happening? There will be something happening. There will be, absolutely. I don't think they'll waste any, not even a second. There will be something happening. We just are not aware that it's going on. We do not know what goes on behind the scenes in that in that sense. I need a drink. I'm struggling to speak now. Tony, I must be psychic. I keep predicting your future videos. You've predicted the next 2. So, how do you know? How do you know I wasn't tapping in and I knew you were going to ask and I created the videos for you? How do you know that? Maybe I am the psychic. Anyone that knows me will be like, no. No, Charlie. Anne says, hit the like button, thumbs up. I agree with you, Anne. Because I know Charlie is a fan of unicorns and rainbows. Do I know you, Marie? Do I actually know you? Don't know if you're tricking me. I don't know if you're tricking me. Timothy, the blank sheet of paper remains blank. It's not going to consume my realm, as I know. It's just the idea it had in my mind. Yet, okay. Claire Davy, when you are going to start selling your spiritual scarves? I'm looking at a merch section of my channel, so you can buy spiritual beanies, spiritual scarves, spiritual. I might do hoodies and t-shirts. I don't know what else you can do. I might do color cards. I might do. What else can I do? Suggestions for merch in the comments. Thank you. It does. Oh, I'm at the end. Oh, I'm gonna now read some stupid ideas, aren't I? Thank you. It does. Eh? So that's what? Wait. Yeah, I'm not there yet. Thank you. It does. So that's what I got. Issues, rainbows, and unicorns scare me. Timothy says. Denise says, very cool. Thank you. I do talk to my team, and I hit the pillow at night, but I am too exhausted to do too much else. Then just right now, I'm always aware of the timing is never wrong. So that's just life at the moment for you. So maybe at some point it will creep back in. Who knows? How do you ask to communicate questions, get the answer, and deliver the client over and over without long pauses? While I'm delivering one, I'm asking a question. That's how I do it. The same way I communicate with the spirit world is the same way I would communicate with you. If I want information from you, I would ask you a question, and it's exactly the same. I just have a conversation with them like I would with you. Me and you at Starbucks, and it would be a very boring conversation if I was waiting for you to say something. So it's just normal for me. Just I see it as normal, so it becomes normal. And the pauses are stopped because while I'm delivering, I've got the next statement, and then once that one ties up, this one comes forward to go out, and then I'm off getting another one. Little bit of practice, and that's dealt with. Just a little bit. It really doesn't take that long. Yeah. Ask them if they're on a 5G network. Timothy's saying. And how can I more clearly hear from my team? I think you're waiting for a voice like you can hear my voice now. And this is a big mistake a lot of people make. It's not always going to be that way. That takes a tremendous amount of energy to do that. So it's like, imagine a loved one calling out your name now. Just imagine it right now. And that audible is of a memory. It's a memory audible. Like play your favorite song at the moment in your head. It's a sound without it being an audible sound. That is how you're going to hear it the majority of the time. Elaine, thank you, Charlie. I only just figured out how to comment. Been watching since you started. Off to bed now. Thank you. Thanks. The amount of comments I've received this week of, oh, that's how you comment. What I should have done is a video on how to comment on a laptop, on a phone, on an iPad, whatever. Yeah, it's insane how many people have struggled with that. We should write to YouTube to make it easier. Tony says we need CK beanies. I really would. I wouldn't encourage me in any way, Tony. I would do beanies. So thank you for helping us all. Really do appreciate it, says Sarah. No problem, Sarah. Joe, no nonsense. Development cards. That's not such a bad idea. Timothy, harmless cotton candy at a psychic fair in assorted flavors. Tony, yes, I want a no nonsense oracle card deck delivering the truth and no BS. And you'd buy one because it's cold where you are. Cool. So this is the this is me rounding it up now. Where I finally made it to the end. Thank you so much for joining in with your questions. So this is like the last couple of minutes. Any last questions, I'll answer. So don't forget, Facebook, go like the page and do all the social media stuff, you know, the website, the competitions that are running. Get involved. I'm trying to grow the channel in that sense. And you guys help me. Thumbs up, shares, comments, you know, all that kind of stuff on the channel. I really do appreciate it. You have no idea how much it's helping. I get the analytics and I can see what it's doing. So we're growing. Slowly. It is slowly picking up pace though. But you know, it will get there. It will get there. I'm confident in that now. So it's thank you to you lot that watch it, take part in it, send you questions to me. You know, it's just one of those. So yeah, I'd appreciate any kind of shout out on this one, shared, etc. So Phyllis, I haven't seen Phyllis on this evening, so it's the little things, Charlie Kelly. So hey, thanks for the live, says Landin. Helen, you're a star, no problem. Thanks for answering, no worries. Tony, thanks. So I'm gonna round it off, and Donna's just sent me a PayPal there. Thank you very much, Donna. Very much appreciated. So I will see you all. No, I won't. I won't forget anyone. Honestly, I won't. I still go and do the tiny little churches where they get like 15 people in. I'm the dude that still turns up and does it. So I definitely won't. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll flick the adverts on at the end just as like an end screen for 30 seconds, a minute maybe. And then I'll shut the live down. So I'd appreciate any kind of comment on the replay, and share any videos, speak about the channel. I'm gonna go now, and I'll see you all tomorrow in a video. And then into next week so I can get practicing with my camera. I'll just have to create the content for it. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you all shortly. Bye for now. Yes.